Yeah, otherwise, as soon as we hang up, we'll all remember something completely the opposite of what you say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know how that goes. I'm the same way.
No, we got a couple more people that hopefully will be jumping on in a second. But I watched a video of yours. I guess it was at Road America where you finished second by
Yep.
.008.
Yeah,
That was a sporty race you had there.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had the pace. We should have won that race, but I mean, especially with our cars, the draft is just crazy. I mean, when we go to Daytona, we race the road course. It's like 17 miles per hour being in the draft.
Wow.
Different, like 4.5 seconds. So, yeah, I tried to play my cards right, but unfortunately, I got caught out just at the end, and the driver in third picked the other car and not me. So it's kind of like NASCAR, you know, nothing you can do, unfortunately. It's disappointing, but never complain with a podium.
Yeah. Well, you did a nice job of not blocking and wrecking, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had to be tempting when you look back and you see everybody going, or the other guy, third going with the other guy.
Yeah. Especially in our car. I mean, you're just a sitting duck in the draft because we don't have a roof. So the draft effect is just crazy.
Got it. Well, cool. Hopefully Travis will bounce back in here.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure he's trying to. How you doing, Austin?
Pretty good, man. How are y'all?
Doing well. Justin, was Donnie said he was going to hop on, but
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm on here, but figured you didn't want to see me, see all the trees going by.
yeah. No, we hear you, Charles.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure Travis is trying to get in, but let's go ahead and we're recording, so let's go ahead and get started, Sam, because
okay, cool. Do you want me to share the video so I can just pause it on cue?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Do I have the ability to do that?
You should now.
Yep, got it.
Hey, I just watched that. And it made me not want to do it.
Yeah, the one thing to say is the track is definitely a lot scarier than it looks.
Oh, good. Perfect.
That sounds great.
That's just the pick me up I was looking for.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of barriers in Armco everywhere. But I mean, there's only a few areas where it's a little daunting. Besides that, like, you don't really even think about it or notice it, to be honest. Yeah, so if we want to go ahead and get started. So if you don't know me, I'm Sam Paley. I currently race in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. I'm 19. Last year, I was fortunate enough to be the Rookie of the Year. I think I finished fifth in the championship standings last year. Currently third. We are a series sanctioned by IMSA. So we run with the WeatherTech and the Michelin Pilot Challenge, Trofeo, and the Prototype Challenge. We do about 7 weekends per year: Daytona, St. Petersburg. Last year we went to Sebring with the 12. Unfortunately, we didn't do that this year. Next race is Mid-Ohio, then the Glen, then Road America, I believe. And then, so obviously I went to the Ozarks. I think I was the second or third professional driver ever on the track. So this video is from the second day I was there. The first day, I think we gained like 10 seconds day to day, just because, you know, the track hadn't been worn in at all. There was dust and dirt everywhere. It was pretty gnarly the first couple sessions, especially, you know, with the nature of this track. So you guys are going here in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, the track, I was here in July, and I think I posted the first YouTube video ever of this track. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I've seen some more pop up here and there. I haven't really watched them, to be honest. But the track's definitely going to be a lot different, I'd say. They've been doing a lot of track days. I was looking on YouTube. I saw some Spec Miata videos. So they've definitely been wearing in the track. It's going to be a lot grippier but I think I mean, no one's raced there yet. So I think a lot of the dynamics of this video will still be relative to when you guys go there in a couple weekends. I think it's still going to be pretty low grip considering the track is freshly paved and only a year old. Landscaping wise with the track, curbs, exit curbs, all of that. It's going to be a little bit different as well, especially some of the exit curbing. In this video, you're going to see some flags, some orange small flags on the exit of, I think 14 had some, 11 had some, 7 might have had some as well. Just kind of things that when we were testing there that we realized and relayed the feedback back to the owners. So the track might look a little bit different, but obviously the pavement and the corners are going to be the same. It's definitely, the most involved track I've ever driven. I think I've driven every track in the country, but Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and IMS, at least nationally.
We got those. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to go to the Glen this summer. I used to race Formula cars. I was one day too young to race. When we went to IMS, you had to be 15. I was 14. So hopefully one day I'll take that one off the box. But I mean, it's got a corner from about every track. Little bit of there's a lot of elevation, a lot of compression, a lot of off-camber corners. Some corners are a little bit like Road America, VIR, Road Atlanta. The owner, I'm pretty close with him. When I stayed at his house actually when I was driving here, and we talked about the track a lot. And he said when they were going, because they raced in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, the Ford Mustang GT4s, the pink cars, if you watch that series.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was literally just taking ideas from every track that they went to. So, it's got about every single type of corner. The elevation change is crazy. It's super busy. On this track map I just printed out, it says they have 19 corners, but there's easy 26 or 27. They just don't count some of the corners. Just every straight is a corner. Raceability wise, it's definitely going to be hard to pass. So qualifying is going to be super important. Reliability is going to be super important. Staying on the track is going to be super important because if you go off, you're probably going to hit a barrier, unfortunately. So especially in 8-hour endurance race, right?
Yeah, 2 8 hours.
Yep. It's going to be a lot about survival. There's going to be a lot of people going off. There's definitely some places you can ride off the car. But this video definitely looks a little bit scarier than the track actually is. When I was out there, there was only about 2 corners. I was like, oh shit, like this could really, really go wrong. You mess it up. But besides that, safety wise, the track's safe. There's a lot of professionals that worked on it, and the barriers are close, yes, but it's better. Like in this screen right here, it's better than going into a forest per se, which I have actually done before. But we can just watch some laps. I have some notes and some things I remember from when I was there in July. Track's going to be a little bit different, like what I said, but it's going to be really important to get out there and learn the track quick since it's hard to pass. No one's been there before. So if you're a quick learner in the track and can pick up things quickly, it's going to be very beneficial to the race. So just go ahead and watch some video here. Did the BMWs, Farron, have ABS that you guys run or no?
We do not.
No ABS? Okay.
No.
So this car has ABS. So some of the braking zones are going to be done a little bit differently. But so this is the front stretch, as you can clearly see. The front straightaway is a corner, which is interesting. So I think the start finish, the timing loop was down here, but I think the start finish is going to be probably right around here. So yeah, long sweeping left-hander for the front straightaway. And then you go down, you can see the elevation here just in this frame. You go downhill, back up, back down. This is the pit exit right here, which isn't the best, to be honest. So you always want to watch out for cars coming back out on track. So again, you can see the elevation and just all the track's crazy
Does the tail get really light through that when you're going downhill?
Yeah, so turn one, I'll just walk you through real quick. So turn one is very off camber. So as you can see on this lap, I'm turning in pretty early here. And part of that was because there's really no grip when I was driving this, but I still think a lot of these corners you want to really early turn in because you can see how much the track falls off, especially around here. So if you're off apex, the back end's going to come around, the car's going to get light. You don't really need to use all the track on that exit there. Just set yourself back up for this corner, which is very high compression. So you can carry a lot more speed than you think. Just watch a lap and then we can go into a little bit more detail. Barrier wise, one place here, surprisingly, I think this is going to be one of the most dangerous parts of the track. Even though it's a flat out left-hander, it's really easy to lose it over that crest. Then they had to throw in this bus stop because going into turn 7, I believe they're just carrying so much speed. So little bus stop down the backstretch. So once again, still not really any straightaways. You can see the elevation down the backstretch here. We call this the roller coaster. So even though it's the longest straightaway on the track, you don't really get a break coming over these crests. Another high compression corner here. Then another blind corner here downhill. Another blind uphill corner this time. And then we go straight back downhill for a braking zone. It's going to be a very weird braking zone without ABS. Then we're on the second back straightaway here. Once again, not really a straightaway. Kind of very long sweeping right, left. Another high compression corner. Swinging it back for another short straightaway that's not really a straightaway once again. Here's one place you can see there's no exit curbing, which I assume there'll probably be exit curbing there. Downhill to another very high compression corner. And this is probably the gnarliest corner on the track, at least in my opinion. Downhill braking zone. Absolutely no grip in this corner. And then you're back on the front stretch. Just watch one more and then dive a little bit deeper and go corner by corner and point out some driving and line things. Again, tilts on the right. You can see that's where the Mustang just came out. That's a good example of me, not creeping in early and the car gets light. It's hard to get down to apex. Very long, sweeping right-hander. Mustang can pull away here. see how light the car got there as well when I was 6 feet off apex. I mean, it's just, if you miss these apexes, it's so hard to get down. It's kind of like Laguna Seca in that way. So you just have to always be, really far down in the apex. Miss it by half a car length. That's half a second right there. You have to really get powered on. The car's just gonna wash out.
Where the heck do people pass?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Where the heck do people pass?
I was honestly asking myself the same exact question when I was on the track.
Justin, is it possible to turn the volume down to spec on the
Down?
motor?
Yep, sorry about that.
Here we go, grumpy old guy.
That's scary.
All right, so those are just a couple.
And that pit entry looks, to use your term, gnarly. Somebody
Yeah, this is the
passing in
pit
back
entry as
corner.
well. This is also another kind of area of concern, I'd say, because this is the the racing line, and if people are diving into the pits, you're gonna have to watch out for that and beware. I'm pretty sure the pit speed cones are gonna be a little bit farther down, but yeah, it's like a quick pop off there, so always got to be cautious if you're close behind someone coming out of the last corner. And I think it'll change a little bit, maybe a little bit grippier, but there was no grip coming into the pit entry. So you have to be really cautious going into there, especially in practice. Just kind of test it out. I'm not sure how it's going to be. I think they might have been talking about changing that wall a little bit because that's something we were talking about. Again, I'm not sure if they ended up doing that. That's more of a, parade practice first lap out, something you just got to look out for, especially if you're behind a car. But if we can just dive a little bit deeper, corner by corner around the track. Obviously, it's a very long track, a lot of different corners. Very busy track, not very many breaks. A lot of overall themes, definitely a lot of elevation, a lot of compression, corners where, at least in the MX-5, the car's almost decelerating going up the hill, so you can carry a lot more speed than you think you can. When I was at this track, obviously it was very low grip. I definitely think there'll be a lot more grip, but it's still going to be nothing like, Road America, Road Atlanta, where those tracks are so gripped up, or Mid-Ohio, or wherever it may be. A newer track's always going to have less grip. The downhill braking zones are definitely going to catch some people out. Like in, where was it? 11, that downhill left-hander where I missed the apex this lap and got a little wash on the outside, especially without ABS. When I drove the Mustang, the GT4 that we were just behind, and that brakes, the ABS works a little bit differently, and that was definitely a lot more gnarly. The pedal goes soft there because you're going downhill and there's not much weight on the car. Same thing with the last corner. Pedal goes pretty soft there. So first couple laps out on track, that's definitely a big thing to beware of because, especially the nature of this track right now, if you get off apex, there's not a lot of grip and there's a good chance that you're going to go off track. Front straightaway wise, coming off the last corner, you're going to be pretty close to this wall, just the way the last corner doesn't really have that much grip. You kind of just chase it out to the wall. So coming up here, you don't really know where the track's going to go. So what I was using as a reference point, I don't normally, when I'm coaching, like to point out specific reference points because, tracks always change day by day, different cars. But at least for me, that this tree right here, I think is a good starting point. So you can at least aim for where you're going before you see where the track's going. So staying pretty wide here on entry. You want to carry the throttle as long as you can. And then normally I'd feel the car get a little bit light right around here over this crest. And I'd lift off, treat this straightaway again as a double apex. There's a bump right about there where you just make sure if you're low on this apex, it won't really be that big of an issue. But once again, if you're a car length offline, that bump could be a problem. So you definitely want to make sure you're staying low on the front straightaway. And then kind of just let the car go out a little bit. There's that bump. Apex again, and now you're looking ahead for the first corner, which right now you can't even see the apex. So a common theme around this track that I was doing was I was looking at outside markers on entry. So for like these cones, for example, these cones are judging. I'm looking at these cones right here. And then once I go down the hill a little bit, I can see the apex. Always keeping my eyes ahead as possible, especially with this elevation, these blind corners. Always want to be looking ahead. So I think we were braking at, the 1.5, 2. This corner, you can see how much it falls off right about here. If we go a little deeper, definitely falls off a little bit. So you can see I'm creeping in pretty early here. Not much grip on entry just because you're going downhill. The car is going to get light, especially the back ends. So just make sure you're down on apex. And then you can pick up throttle quicker than you think here. You can see I'm already picking it up. Just because you mentally overslow it a little bit more than you think because of the nature of going downhill and the fact you can't see the corner. That's something I found I was doing a lot. Then exit wise, I was only using about 60 to 75% of the track to help set me up for this right-hander. One, I feel like there's a lot of marbles out here that could potentially get you in trouble if you're all the way out. And two, right here, I'm not setting up for this corner. I'm setting up for turn 3, I think they call it. Yeah, turn 3, which is that right, then that left. And you'll see in a moment why. So now we go downhill. Now we're back uphill. So this corner, like a lot of corners on the track, lots of compression. This going uphill is going to slow down the car a good bit. So I was just doing a quick brake, quick downshift, and back on power. Once again, making sure to stay tight to the right. Only using about 75% track on exit because we need to get back over to the right for this left-hander right here, just over that crest that you can't necessarily see. So like I was doing in turn 1, once again, right now my eyes looking at these 2 cones right here, that was my turning point. So that's where, I'm trying to bring the car. So you can't get caught too far wide out here. Otherwise you'll be in trouble for turn 3. So getting over to those 2 cones, now I can almost see the corner. I still can't see it yet. So once again, my turning point is using reference points on the outside of the track before I can even see the corner. Turning in the car. This corner is kind of weird. It's just kind of like a float. There's probably 25 different ways to do it that will all be the same speed, just whatever you're comfortable with. Definitely need to get down here early and be all over this apex to set yourself up for this long sweeping right-hander. Just something I was doing. Swing over to the left a little bit, brake and downshift. And then in my opinion, this is the weirdest corner on the track. It's a very long sweeping corner that you think you would go wide over here and then kind of double apex it really late, but there's absolutely no grip past 50% of the track, like no grip. You can barely even turn the wheel when you get out there. So for this long sweeping right-hander, I like to stay low. And I was doing it a little weird where, as you saw, I'd brake, downshift, go back on 75% throttle, just kind of waiting. My eyes are over here, looking for, like, there we go. We had those cones up. I'm not sure if you're going to have those cones up, but still relative to the corner, my eyes were very late in the corner. So right here, I'm just looking as far ahead as possible, looking at this cone over here, trying to stay low where the grip is. And then obviously I'm tight here, so I have to get off the throttle again, power down. This corner looks pretty straightforward, but I think this corner is going to catch some people out. Coming over this crest, the car gets really light. So you have to be very aware and very careful to not, get over too quick. Once again, we're looking here, the end of the curb right here. That's where I was trying to apex because the exit comes quicker than you think. You can see wasn't much drama there, but you can see if you turn in a little early, the car can get light there. And on the first day when there wasn't much grip on the track and I was still trying to figure out the line, I definitely had some oh shit moments. Like if I was 100% pushing, I could go right into that wall. So just be wary there. Don't freak out. The car's going to drift, probably going to use all that exit curb. Just let that happen. That's what I was kind of doing, hands straight, just letting it drift out. And then here we have one of the many back straightaways coming into the chicane, just rolling as much entry speed as possible, maximizing your time on full power. It's pretty straightforward chicane all over this curb. I think I hit this cone probably 3 times while I was testing.
Exactly, it happens.
Yeah.
It's almost like Lime Rock Park a little bit, kind of. This little.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. And then, so this is kind of a weird bus stop chicane. We go left, then right, then left, then right again. So I was all over that first curve, just keeping the car straight. Right now, I'm aiming for that second half, the second part of that curb right there, and almost doing a double apexes in one left-hand corner, as you'll see, to help set me up for the right. Because after that right, which is turn 7, you have the long back straight roller coaster. So you want to maximize as much speed as possible. And right now I'm thinking about that back straightaway and trying to set myself up the best way I possibly can. So using all the track per usual. I think I get a little squirrely on exit here. Watch that again, just in one clip. Again, using the curb on the right, using all the track here. Using that right hand curb almost as a buffer, keeping you on track.
I like Kentucky a little bit, that little where you drive over that inside curb, but you got to be careful that it doesn't pull you to the right.
Yeah. Right here.
Or no, the one in the center.
Right here.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I was thinking about, but it was almost keeping me on track rather than pulling me on track. You can see how the curb is sloped downwards. Get a phone call. Sloped downwards. So it's almost like I don't know.
Thinking here.
Have you ever been to Putnam Park? The curbs are kind of the same way where they're sloped. So when you hit them, they almost keep you on track rather than push you off. So like right here, you can see that I am basically in the grass, but I hit this curb and it keeps me on track rather than pulls me.
Good.
But as any chicane or bus stop, you just want to keep your hands as straight as possible. Super smooth, slow hands. So here I'm looking, now I'm thinking how I set myself up the best for turn 7. So once again, it's a straightaway. So the way I was doing this corner was I was doing my braking early and then trying to get back on power as soon as possible. So it's going to look a little weird, but I think it's the fastest way. The way the track grips up, it might be different. And I was also, it's a test day, so I'm driving 90 to 95% right now because it's a new track too. And this is the car I race, so I'm not trying to write it off for the season and on testing a track. So you can see I brake pretty early, and then this is the corner going on the straight here. So I'm trying to get back on throttle as soon as possible. Another note about this long, they consider this one corner, but this long sweeping right, once again, the last 20% of the track, not much grip. So I found it much more beneficial to just almost stay low. And then that just helped the car out a lot more. Got to be careful over this crest. One of the Mustangs almost rode it right into that wall. Got a big tank slapper, tried to correct, luckily saved it. But once again, the car is getting light here. I think they're probably going to add exit curbing here. I think they should. I told them to add it here. This is another spot where I think some people could get in trouble with that wall. And then, so now we're on the back straightaway, the longest straightaway on the track, which isn't really a straightaway, as I said earlier. These hills are a lot bigger than they look. I felt like I almost caught air when I was in the GT4. This car It wasn't too dramatic, but you just kind of have to be in the right spot of the track and just be super smooth with your hands. So what I was doing was I was staying far to the left here, trying to straighten it off as much as possible. And then you got to be over here to the right. As you can see the track, I don't know if you can see it, but the track is more dramatic over here than it is over here. So I found it much more beneficial to stay towards this apex and not clip it, but just be right on it. And then that just kept the car the most settled and calm through that section. And now here, this corner comes up a lot quicker than you think. This is turn 8. So right now, I'm looking at this rumble strip, trying to get out there. It's really easy to pinch this corner off because you're hauling right now and you're going downhill. So it's really easy to only use 60% of the track on entry and pinch it off. So right now, I'm really making a conscious effort to get all the way out here to the exit of the track. I noticed a few sessions before this, I was almost turning in right at this groove just because it comes up so quick. So I'm almost driving out to the exit of the track. Once again, this is a big uphill corner. You're going to be pushing 120 probably through here, maybe a little more. So you're going pretty quick, but the car slows down just as quick throughout this corner because, again, on the video, you can't quite see it, but this uphill is pretty dramatic and it slows the car down by itself a lot. So this is just a quick tap of the brake, quick downshift. I think my car might actually decelerate up this hill when I go back on power. Gotta find out. And back on power as soon as you can. You can see I'm barely even gaining speed. We'll run through that in speed one more time. So it comes up quick. Nice and straight, looking for that right curb, for that curb on the right-hand side. Over the hill. Now looking for the entry curb, quick downshift, power, super quick. You can see I think I lost what? Was that 112, I think? And I went down to 88 real quick. Unfortunately, my brake sensor wasn't working with this camera in this car. So you can't see my brake pressure, but it's not that much. It's a lot less than you think it is. 112 to 85, really quick. And I just tapped the brake. So, I mean, the elevation's going to slow down the car a lot there. And this is the one corner where I realized I was overslowing the much. That makes no sense. Overslowing the most. Just because the elevation slows down the car so much, it can really catch you out. And the track kind of opens up here. You know, you have a lot more runoff to work with than you think. And then here we go, another blind corner. So again, this one's a little bit more iffy on where you want to turn in. I was using just before this hay bale, which probably isn't going to be there, but another corner where it's easy to overslow because it looks a lot tighter than it is. On exit, it opens up a good bit, but looking at it from this angle, it looks like a pretty tight corner. Definitely want to get down there early, apex, kind of float in a little bit. You can see how long I'm just off everything. Yeah. Brake. I'm off, and now I'm back to power, which is a little timid, but you just want to really make sure the car is settled here because now we're going back down another hill, and you can tell the track opens up a good bit. So that corner was the corner I was most iffy about, you know, the first day, the first few sessions, but that's somewhere where you'll gain confidence quick, and a lot of people won't if you just understand how the track opens up so much throughout here. So now we're on to turn 10. Another blind corner. It's uphill to the right. So again, using reference marks on the outside of the track here, even for turn in. I was creeping in early here. I found it was very beneficial to stay tight to the right. There's one curb here, a little gravel, which will probably be grass. Oops. Let me do that again. So we're uphill. Once again, the car slows down pretty easily when you're going uphill, at least my car, at least. So we have this one curb, then we have a stretch of gravel, and then we have another curb, and I was just holding it tight all the way around the right throughout the entire corner. You can see once again the track falls off to the left here. And after this corner, you have that downhill braking zone for that left-hander. So you really want to set yourself up well because there's not that much time to get back over. So I was staying very tight here. A little late on power. I thought rolling in more entry speed and going back later on throttle was more beneficial to help set me up for turn 11, which is this next left-hander. This is another confidence corner. You need a lot of entry speed. You can roll a lot more speed than you think you can through here, and then just be patient on going back to throttle. So here's that gravel patch I was talking with you about. I think I was wheels in this every single lap, just trying to stay as much to the right as possible. You'll see the second curb coming up. Make sure you're tight on this. Drift out 40%, but this corner comes up quick, so you really don't want to be too far out to the left here. You want to be able to set yourself back up to the right because, like I said, this is probably the sketchiest braking zone on the track, and we're going downhill here. So the brake pedal gets really soft, and a lot of times it feels like you're not going to make the corner. So getting back to the right here, another corner where, as you saw in that last lap, it's a late apex, but you really need to make sure you stay low here to the left. Otherwise, there's no grip, and the car is going to wash all the way up the hill. You can see how dancy it was on entry. They're extending this exit curb here to that little orange flag, so there's going to be more room to use there. This is a really strange corner, mid to exit. It's a little, you understeer a lot more than you think you will on exit, so that's just something to be careful of. I went off track there a couple times. Now we're back on this third back straightaway, I guess now. Now this section of the track for me was a big eye test. So this is, they call it turn 12, but it's 3 or 4 corners, but you can, straight line it as much as possible. But right here, it's, there's trees, there's these barriers, there's grass on the right, there's grass on the left. I got lost here for about 6 straight laps my first time on this track. So it's really important to always look as far ahead and kind of follow where the grass is going on the right-hand side here. So as you can see, I'm just tight in the grass, and then open up, and now I can see the track. So originally I was a little bit more mid-track. I thought it was a straightaway, and then I'd end up all the way out here, and I was like, oh wait, I'm in no man's land. I have no idea where I am. So this track, it's always just looking as far ahead as possible, taking your time to understand where you're going, because this section looks a lot more complicated than it is the first couple laps. But if you stay close to that grass on the right, like I did out of this corner, just stay track right here, practically the whole way around, then the track will just basically open up for you, and it makes it a lot easier. So this corner is pretty deceptive. Pretty long sweeping right-hander. The apex is almost all the way over here, but once again, common theme with the entire track, there's not much grip on this 30% of pavement over here. So it doesn't look like I'm doing the best line here, and once again, things might change, but I found it much more beneficial to be middle of the track here, because I tried multiple times to be wide left, and I just couldn't get it back down to the right. And even though I'm doing a better line, it was costing me time at the end of the day. This corner, once again, it's a straightaway leading up to it. So you want to stay on power for as long as possible. Another confidence corner. You're going to gain probably 7 or 8 tenths here from first session to second session. If I had to guess, I know I did. I think I gained a second here because you can just carry a lot more speed than you think you can. I think this corner is going to get really rubbered up, and throughout the weekend, you're just going to be able to push more and more as you go on throughout here. Don't let this gravel trap deceive you. There's no way you'd ever end up over there. The apex of the
Like a
corner.
challenge.
Here, so
Oh man, yeah.
if you're hitting anything, you're hitting the barrier over here. You're not. I don't really understand the placement of this gravel trap.
We'll send you a
could've used that
message.
gravel on better parts of the track, in my opinion. But yeah, so another look, as I've said probably 10 times, really important to look as far ahead as possible on the track. So right now my eyes are looking over here, and you're going to see how deceptive this corner is in a second. So still carrying speed. The curb just started now, and we're apexing super late. And if we play that back, I mean, it looks like I'm going to start turning here. So once again, the apex is up here. So just always making sure your eyes are looking as far ahead as possible. This corner, once you get here, there's actually a good bit of compression. And once again, common theme, you're going uphill. So you can get back to power a lot quicker than you think you can. This was another corner where I was realizing that I overslowed it a little bit. Now we're coming into turn 14, almost done with the track, almost. I feel like this is like a 30-minute one lap debrief here because the track is so long. But coming up to turn 13, it's a right-hand hairpin. Honestly, a pretty straightforward corner, but they kind of ruined it because the entry, you're braking on the entry curve. So you need to set yourself up for that. I think they should have made the straightaway straight, but once again, you're swinging right to swing back left. So I only use 75% of the track here on exit, driving back to the right. And then here's that curve I'm talking about. And, you can tell the angle here is much better than here, in my opinion, missing it and going to the left. I gained a lot of time once I just said, screw it. I'm braking. You always want to brake in a straight line. I'm braking a straight line. I'm going straight over this curb. There's not much drama on this curve, but it will play with no ABS a little bit. So you just have to be careful, work your way up to this corner. You're not going to hit anything in this corner, so that's a good thing. There's an exit road right there. So if you overshoot it, you're not going to hit anything. So this is the one corner where you should feel pretty safe about yourself. But it could get a little gnarly without ABS. So once again, braking on the curb, starting my braking here. It's a little bumpy, gonna unsettle the car a little bit, but straightforward corner here. I hope they add rumble strips there. I think that'd be very beneficial to the track. Okay, so now we're going into turn 16, 15 and 16. This left-hander is 15. The uphill right-hander is 16. This is another place where you can just accidentally get lost in the track. So right here, my eyes are looking to the left-hand side. I'm staying wide here and then coming in, staying left, staying left, staying left. And then now I can set myself up for that right-hander. You can see if you don't stay left and you go straight here, now you're in the middle of the track and there's not that much grip out there. And now you're all the way to the right. And this corner, you're going to lose time. So staying all the way to the left, another high compression corner. You can actually feel yourself, squat down in the car here because you're going with a dramatic downhill to a dramatic uphill. So another quick downshift, back on power very quickly. Another place where you can gain a lot of time because you can carry so much more speed than you think you can. And now we're on the last two corners of the track. But this is another area of the track I was struggling with my eyes. This was the hardest corner on the track for me to learn. Once again, in this frame, you can't see where the track's going. You have no idea. Now, the track pokes out a little bit here to the left, and it can catch you out pretty easily. I think I went straight through this grass on like my third or fourth lap because I just forgot that there was, the track went this way, and it's such a hard track to learn. So what I was doing was out of this corner, you can see the wheel. I was always keeping it to the left. And then there's that piece of track that sticks out. This braking zone, this is turn 17. You can brake a lot later than you think you can because it's one of the only corners on the track where you don't really need to creep in early. So I was really pushing the limit there. And then this is the worst corner on the track. Downhill, 180 degrees, really tight hairpin. The car is going to feel terrible here no matter what you do. There's no grip on entry. There's no grip in the middle of the corner, and there's no grip on exit. But the best thing you can do for that last corner is one, set yourself up right here. You can see how late I am on throttle because I want to use as much road on entry as I can to set myself up best for the front straightaway. So patient on throttle in turn 17. Play through this. And that's another reason why you can brake a lot later than you think you can in turn 17, because you're picking up the throttle so late. A lot of corners on this track, you pick up the throttle so early, like turn 16 or turn 8 because of the high compression. This is one traditional corner where you're picking up throttle really late, and it's much more beneficial to overcook it on braking and then pick up the throttle late than brake early and then, you know, on the throttle and then get pushed left, and then you can't set yourself up that well for the last corner. So super patient on throttle here. I'm still not full. Go full for, you know, a quarter of a second. And now we're at the last corner. Full 180 degrees. Like I said, car's going to feel terrible. So the best thing you can do is just going 44 minimum corner speed here. So it's going to be better as it grips up, but you just really need to get down to this apex and just be patient. Be patient with the wheel. Be patient with the throttle. You can see the car is just, you can see my hands. The car is terrible. 34 miles an hour. And then you really get chased all the way to that wall because there's just no grip. If I had to guess, it's just because it's a pit and all the dust and the dirt, kind of the wind blows it down. But that wall is going to come up quick on you. So once again, just patient on the throttle, patient on the throttle. And then once you got the wheel almost straight, you can power down. And then that's a lap. So I set at speed one more time, that whole section. Now here's the right, late brake, off, wait, slight power, off, wait, power. That last couple corners of this track is just all about patience, really. The car doesn't really feel that good there, especially in the last corner. So you just got to be patient with it, get the car rotated and power down. So I know that was a lot. I just wanted to kind of get through everything in one lap real quick. And then now we can just talk about certain sections or certain themes and, you know, a little slower pace. But it's definitely a long lap, a lot of detail, a lot involved. Definitely a driver's track. Definitely need a lot of confidence. And whoever wins the race, at least from a driving perspective, is going to be the team or the drivers that figured out the track first, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a lot. I can see your face.
Right, like, yeah.
I'm exhausted after one lap.
Yeah.
I'm watching you drive.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sam, would you say that we want to take as much roll out of the car as we can? I mean, to be as stiff on suspension as we can get, or what's your
You want a lot
perspective
of
on that?
rotation. You want a lot of rotation, I'd say, especially for the last section, because those compression corners, like I was talking about, that 16, that uphill right-hander, that other uphill right-hander after the roller coaster, you can get by there with anything. But, you know, the last couple corners, turn 1, that long sweeping right, you're going to need a lot of rotation in the car. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of slow corner rotation, I think, is going to work well. And you just want a stable car. I think that's the biggest thing. I'd say you don't really want the rear ride height too high, especially over that back straight with the, the roller coaster. You just want the car planted. There's a lot of off-camber corners where the back end gets light. So I definitely keep the back end down. I feel like my driving style and what I like for setup is a lot different from what at least people on my team like. So I don't really want to give specific setup advice besides just common themes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like I drive the car a lot differently. I kind of chase the front end more, and I like the rear really, really loose, which is something you definitely don't want on this track. But at least for me, I like a lot of rotation in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just need a stable car. I think that's the biggest thing. You can play with setup all you want, but in an 8-hour race, stable car where the drivers are confident, that's going to be the best possible
Yeah,
setup.
exactly. It's still running.
Yeah. Hey, would you think, Sam, this would be a high fuel burn track? Like for us, we have 2-hour stints as our max stint that we can go. And we need to make sure we, just curious, like Road Atlanta for us is a high fuel burn track.
Yeah, I'd say similar then. I mean, I haven't done any endurance racing in my career, so I don't know much about fuel burn or fuel strategy, honestly. But I think with the elevation, that's me burning a lot, and it's just such a long track too. And you are, even though there's a lot of corners, you are powered down a lot of the time. I think the most similar track to this would be if you did Road Atlanta twice, and that was 1 lap. That's what I'd compare this track to.
Right.
Just because Road it, like, when you go through the S's and then the backstretch, you go down and then you have 10 and 11 and then you go back up and then last corner, just the elevation wise. Through turn 1, too, I feel like it's kind of similar to this track a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, got that off camber turn 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that turn 1 wall hurts, by the way.
Oh, good.
Good stuff. That's a good breakdown. I was trying to watch that clip the last couple of days to kind of already know a little bit about where we're going before the explanation, but it's definitely going to be whoever has the most courage, I think, is going to be part of it.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like you can be very tentative, and if you catch somebody, you need to pass them like as soon as you catch them, because it seems like if you get stuck behind someone, they can hold you up for a long sequence of corners and really, really, really derail you.
Yeah, and I've never raced a car where dirty air is a big effect, but I have a feeling that dirty air would be pretty bad on this track. I don't know how your cars are with the turbulence sitting behind some. Put an Indy car on this track, I don't think they could make it past the entire race. Just with all the elevation and everything. Passing spots, I mean, I think turn 1, if you can get a better run, through that left-hand straight, you can make a move in there. And the one thing about turn 1 is if you make a move in there, they're going to be on the marbles, so you will make the pass. It's just, will you make it? Will he make it? Will you both make it? Will you not make it?
Right.
Yeah, and then 2, no chance. 3, no chance. The long right-hander, no chance. Going into the bus stop, no chance. Back straightaway, I don't think you can make it work personally. I think the car, after you come over that second crest, you're just focusing on setting the car down. And that corner isn't really much of a braking zone. That's the issue, The hill does most of it for you. And then that second right-hander where it's downhill and you can't see the apex, we can just kind of talk about raceability real quick. Might as well. This corner right here, obviously, I don't think there's anything. This corner, again, I don't really think there's much you can do there. I think this is one of your best passing spots on the track right here.
And where are you, Sam? What corner?
Is turn 11. So turn 10 here. We'll start from the backstretch. So here we are in the backstretch. Turn 9. Definitely nothing there.
Oh my god.
Once again, turn 10.
Oh my god.
Coming up here. Down a little bit for you guys. Then we come up. Oh, sorry, that was turn 10. Then we come up. This is turn 11. Oh, wait, sorry, I messed that up completely. The first right-hander is 8, then 9, then 10. They do the corner numbers so weird on this track. They count one bus stop as one corner, which a lot of tracks don't do. I think this is the best passing spot on the track, in my opinion, because if you can stay behind someone, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of draft. I don't know how big the draft is in your cars, but if you can stay close here, and then you can see how, like I talked about throughout the lap, I'm staying tight here. So if you just, you can carry more speed, use all the exit, and then just pop here. And then it's not going to be easy by any shot. But if I was racing on this track, I'd pass here, and I would pass here. But again, this is a really hard spot to pass, and it's going to be very weird when one car is braking on, the curb and one car is braking on asphalt. Besides that, I mean, it's going to be a lot about survival, qualifying, nothing there. You could maybe squeeze something in here, but again, they could hang it around the outside, and then you are well on the marbles out here. If you put it up the inside here, and then they hang the outside, because I think you probably can hang the outside in this corner, and then now they have the inside. You are not hanging the outside in this corner. You are going right into that wall, because I mean you're almost going into the wall on Apex there. But I think turn one, you could definitely make something happen if you stay close. As long as I don't know the specifics of the cars you guys race, but as long as the wash isn't too bad, you definitely have a good opportunity to pass here. You just have to be balls to the wall, 100%. So it's going to be really hard to pass, if not impossible, to be honest. So strategy is going to be important. Qualifying, again, really important.
Yeah.
Survival.
And I guess, I mean, our hope was with the knowledge we gained from you that we actually get a practice day on Friday, which we usually don't get. But if we can just go out there on Friday, we know a lot more than we did before we talked to you. And then we can maybe we can shorten our learning curve.
Yeah.
And in our series, there's radical differences in speed and pace of cars.
Yep.
So we don't get to race online, but so much, because you're navigating passes quite often.
Yeah.
Some guys are a lot faster than we are, but we do have a fair amount of downforce relative to everybody else. So we're
big on this track. I don't think BOP is going to matter much at all. I mean, even the back straightaway, I only did one session in the GT4, which I mean, I consider much more involved race car than the MX-5, but I don't even know if I got flat over the second roller coaster hill. It also wasn't my car, and it was, it's a GT4 car, so I'm not trying to wreck it first session out. But like the BOP doesn't matter because you're not going to use it. I feel like downforce is more efficient even down the back straightaway than the BOP would be. So I think downforce will help you out, and then setup wise, I mean, you can think of a million different things because there's a million different corners and there's probably 100 different ways to drive this track, and I think the most beneficial setup, especially for what you guys are trying to do, and especially for an endurance race, is just going to be whatever is stable, where the back rear end of the car is down, and whatever the drivers feel comfortable in, because this track is all driving and it's all confidence, and a lot of it is mental. You see
as sticky as tires as possible, even if you got to change them, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't think we want to.
Get a break either, so
Yeah.
a lot of fitness. I'd race at St. Pete too, and that track is brutal because you don't get a break and you're in the wall, so there's no airflow, and that's about as physical as it gets. But this is right up there with it. You don't get a mental break either. Even over that roller coaster section in the back, you're still thinking about those crests, the car getting light, keeping your hands smooth and straight and steady. So I think mentally is the biggest challenge on this track, and that's the thing the drivers are going to struggle most with. So just having a car that they're comfortable with, whether it has a lot of front end grip or it's stiff or it's soft, or wherever the ride height is, wherever, I don't know what suspension you guys have or what capabilities you have on that, but I don't think it'll matter. It's just whatever the drivers are comfortable with.
excellent.
All right.
Any other questions, guys? Justin, Jack, Travis, Charles?
Yeah, I know I gave you guys a lot of information and you're probably pretty confused right now, but I'm happy to
No,
answer.
everything you said made sense. I really did.
Yeah.
It's all a rhythm track. If you miss one corner, it messes up the next, which messes up the next. It seems like you really just gotta put them together.
Exactly.
Focus on resettling every corner.
Yep, keeping the car stable. Like he said, it's a rhythm track. Always keeping your eyes as far forward as possible. Like here, what I said, right here, I'm setting up for not even this corner. I'm setting up for this corner because if I go wide here, I'm gonna go wide here, and then I'm gonna be screwed for turn 3 up here.
Yeah. Everybody ready? All right.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm honestly jealous of you guys. I would love to race at this track, but
You can have my seat. What are you doing?
All right. Everybody ready?
it'll be a lot of fun. It's not nearly as
1, 2, 3.
Jack doesn't realize he's not on mute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, taking photos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
He's at a track meet and he's multitasking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, sorry. Jeez. Sam, thank
Okay.
you.
no problem.
Thanks for organizing.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, Sam. Thank you. I'll follow up with you.
No problem. Sounds good. Good
All
luck.
right.
Thanks, man.
See
Appreciate it.
y'all.
Thank you very much.